Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and today I'm recapping Game 44 of the regular season. Astros fall to the Athletics 3-2 in walk-off fashion. This was a heartbreaker, but before I get into the game, there's two bits of house cleaning that I want to get out of the way, and neither of which have anything to do with the Astros, but I think they're both equally interesting to me. One that's interesting in a good way, one that's interesting in a bad way. So I'm going to get to those very quickly before I get going. The first one is today is Roberto Clemente Day, which, if you do not know the story of Roberto Clemente, you are missing out. He is a truly great, selfless person, and hearing his story, especially in times like this of how good he was on and off the field, really brightens your day. And he died tragically while attempting to aid in Nicaragua after the earthquakes, and he died while flying supplies there, which awful tragic death. And people have been trying to get his jersey worn by baseball players and by everyone in the MLB for a while now on Roberto Clemente Day, similar to Jackie Robinson Day. And the MLB, I don't know if I can say this word because YouTube might get mad at me if I say it, even though I only get like 10 views. The MLB they made a mistake because they said, okay, we'll let some players wear 21, but only if you're Puerto Rican can you wear the number. This is so mind-numbingly dumb to me. You can only wear the number for Roberto Clemente on his day if you're Puerto. Are you kidding me? What? Like, that is just so insane to me, and it bugged me on a deep level, and I wanted to get that out of the way, because that really bugged me, that they were only allowing Puerto Rican players. I am not Puerto Rican, as you can tell from everything about me. But if I played baseball, Puerto Rican or not, I would want to wear and honor that great man. And the fact that they limited it to just the Puerto Rican players is insulting in a way to his legacy of saying, that bugged me. The other thing is interesting to me only because baseball numbers are ridiculous and it's hysterical to me. The Braves pitcher, the Braves won today. They won 29-9. And their pitcher, who would pitch 4 innings in relief, tonight, as he finished the game, the last out he recorded, they were up by 20 runs, and he got a save. Because the way baseball works is if a qualified reliever pitches 3 innings of effective relief or 3 innings of effective relief, they get the save. So while up by 20 runs, not while up by 5 or 10 or even 15, when up 20 runs, they got the save. Okay, I needed to talk about those things because as much as I love talking about the Astros, which is obvious, I do also like other things happening in baseball, and the 20-run save and the mishandling of Roberto Clemente Day I had to talk about, and it is... Okay, I'm going to try to remember that number so I can tell you when to actually start if you want to just skip that. So the recap starts, Luis Garcia got off. He was great tonight. Can we just agree on this? He was incredible. First major league start. The only other game he pitched in was, I believe, in relief of Lance McCullers. Let me check my notes if I can see that. Yes, and he was pretty good. 1 run of 4 1/3, 1 run. He was great tonight. 5 innings, no runs, 2 walks, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. He did not allow a hit till the 5th inning, I believe. Absolutely incredible night by this kid. Great start. I can't say enough good things about it. After the 5th inning, we brought in our relief pitchers, and this is where the game sort of fell apart. There's a couple of decisions in relief pitchers that I'm going to talk about that are all confusing to me. The first one, Andres Gareb came in, and he looked fine. But we only used him for 2/3 of an inning. I don't know why we pulled him. I believe he had given up one hit. Like, I think he gave up a base runner. And so if you want to say, well, that's why they did it, I still disagree with it. Scrub has been our most effective reliever. Like, if you look at ERA, he has been our most effective reliever. And you're pulling our most effective reliever at keeping runs from crossing the board. And I don't mean this as an insult, but for Ciano Perez. Really? I didn't get that. He pitched 2/3. They finished that inning, came back, and started to pitch a second one. And after an out, got pulled for Josh James, who would go 2/3 of an inning. Now, I know what you're thinking, and there are a lot of questions that I have. One, why? Why are you doing that? Josh James has not been good this year. And I said going into the season, and I said going in, whenever I talk about Josh James, I like Josh James as a person. He's cool. He's got a cool nickname. He is a cool person. He seems nice. But he has an over 10 ERA. And you looked at a 2-run lead, a fragile lead, as fragile as a baby bird. Just in the nest, just born. And you gave it to Josh James. A 2-run lead with, at that point, still 7 innings, like 2 innings to go. You're in the 7th, and you give him a 2-run lead over a division opponent that we need to beat. Now, I will say this. If Tucker makes that play, we get out of the inning and we win the game. Which, that is good. That is a positive. But that is a hard play. And so a part of me wants to put it on Tucker because he almost had it. But at the same time, it was a hard play anyway. So it shouldn't be expected. And also, if he hadn't allowed those, I think it was a walk and a hit, the runs wouldn't have scored anyway. Like, if he would have just got out of the inning. And we gave up 2 runs. And that tied it. And then, this was another really confusing thing. Paredes then came in. And I looked at this and I was like, okay. When Josh James came in. I don't know if anyone else had this thought. Maybe it was just me. It probably was just me. But I was like, okay, I would have liked to have seen Paredes again. But I guess since he went, yesterday, I get it. You don't want to go to the Paredes well too many times. We did that once. We saw how that worked. So I get you. The Josh James implosion happened. And then we brought out Paredes. And I was like, oh. So it's not because you don't want to go to the well too many times. It's for some other reason that I don't really get. I didn't understand that. I thought it was because we didn't want to keep using our young arm. But then we did. And if you say, well, Weston, it's because it was a higher leverage situation. I would almost argue, if I may, while I'm on my soapbox, I would argue that a slim lead over the division opponent is almost a higher leverage, and it probably isn't statistically, I understand that, but in my eyes, that's higher leverage than tied. I mean, to be frank, I wouldn't have brought Josh James in, period, but, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand not bringing Paredes in if that's the direction you want to go, and it was weird. That was weird. Presley came in, and man, we were so close. We were this close. So close. We were so close. He had a couple solid games where he hadn't allowed an earned run. I know he gave up the one, I think it was technically a blown save, but it's because they started with a runner on second. He was so close. He was so close to becoming himself again. And walk, hit by pitch, or was it a base hit by pitch, and then walk off. Which, I will say this, we almost got bailed out. Aledmus Diaz, he almost bailed us out, because that was a great play, great heads-up play, great reaction, great throw. I can't praise Diaz enough for that. I also want to praise, earlier in the game, a run-saving play by Correa. He bobbled one in the 9th, which almost made me not bring it up, but I had to. That was an incredible play by Correa. Going away from first base, granted he was a ways away, but going away from first base, turns, throws, guns. Correa's got a cannon. Give the man a gold glove. This is incredible how he's playing shortstop this year. And that's saying something, because shortstop is probably the most defensively rich position in baseball. And Correa he is flashing leather this year, and it's great. The offense, we scored 2 runs, which is not great. The first one was on a Springer dinger. He led off the game, which now puts him ahead of Ichiro Suzuki all time in leadoff home runs. So good for him. Sorry, Ichiro. We are not Mariners fans on this channel, but we do respect Ichiro Suzuki. I had to say that. But Springer led off with a home run. Springer's starting to see the ball a bit better, which gives me hope. And then Yuli later on had a home run, which, who does not love a La Pena Power home run? It's the best. Who doesn't love it? So yeah, that was the game. It was a bit of a bummer. We got walked off, which sucks. Urquidy gets the start tomorrow. It is at 3:40, and yeah, I will see you guys then. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Stros.